Okay, good evening everybody. It's gone 6 o'clock, so we'll make a start. Welcome to this evening's meeting of Cabinet. Running through the agenda, item 1, apologies for absence. I believe we received apologies from Councillor Chatterton and Councillor O'Rayman. Anybody else? No, silence to me, no, thank you very much. Item 2, urgent business. This is first for me. I have been notified of 2 items of urgent business which I've agreed to accept in accordance with Section 100B(4) of the Local Government Act 1972, which will be considered at items 10 and 11 of the agenda. Urgent Cabinet approval is required to enable the Council to make a decision about the Public Space Protection Order in conjunction with Tameside Council's decision-making and the proposed changes to the fixed penalty charges impact upon the enforcement powers in relation to the Public Space Protection Order. So that will come later on at items 10 and 11. So, item 3, any declarations of interest? Councillor Roberts.
Thank you.
You live in Delft?
Yes, so do a lot of other people. No, my declaration of interest is a personal interest in item 8, targeted youth services, because I'm on the board of Positive Steps Oldham, who currently hold the youth justice contract.
Thank you for your declaration. Anybody else? No, thank you. Okay, so item 4 is public question time. I've not been notified of any public questions, and there aren't any. Item 5 is minutes of the previous meeting, pages 1 to 8. Do Cabinet agree those minutes as a correct record? I'll take silence to mean no, thank you. Okay, so item 6, 2018-19 annual statement of accounts beginning on page 9. Councillor Jabbar, I guess this is you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So this is the actual final notification of the accounts for 2018-19. As I reported at the council meeting on last Wednesday, Chair, that we've actually closed the account for last year. Why is it coming here? Well, because by law, the Cabinet needs to approve it and actually recommend that this goes to the full council to completely follow all the rules and regulation as far as the statement of accounts concerned. I'm happy to go through the details, but one detail I'd like to start with is that we were first in the country to close our accounts for last year, beating Westminster. So I take great joy in repeating that. I did it at the council meeting on Wednesday, and I'm happy to do it again. And once again, thanks to all our staff, especially finance, for making sure that we completed the regulatory duty in time and fulfill all the requirements and close the accounts. As well as that, Chair, I'm happy to say that the auditor's report in terms of the quality of the work and how we manage our finances is quite excellent, and I hope if people get the chance to read the report, reflect on that. So in essence, the account for last year was closed with £0.84 million surplus, and then the details of the rest is on page 9. I'm happy to go through it line by line, but the key thing is this report did come to Leadership Star Chamber, but more importantly, it's been to our audit committee where it's been scrutinised, and they're happy with all the details in there. And subsequently, the auditors also have given a clean bill of health on this. As I said, I'm happy to take you through all that. Primary purpose is for you to note it and to recommend that this report goes to Council to fully meet the requirement around this area.
Thank you, Councillor Jabbar. Do any members have any comments or observations on the report? No. Okay. So the recommendations are set out at the front of the report agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Item 7, Revenue Monitor and Capital Investment Programme 2019-20, Quarter 1.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the first report of this financial year, period ending 30th of June 2019. So it deals with the revenue position and as well as the capital. So in terms of revenue, at the end of the first quarter is predicting that there will be an overspend of 3.805 million. And the particular areas are people and places, children's services, community services and adult social care. The details of those expenditure are mentioned in the report, and although I'm reporting this as a problem at the moment because of the overspend, I'm pleased to say that management is taking action, and our expectation is that this overspend will be reduced, if not eliminated. So that's the key thing. And I'm also very pleased that some cabinet members are actually involved in managing that, including Councillor Mushtaq and Councillor Amanda Chatterton. In terms of the capital position, Chair, which is on page 289 and 289 and 290. So if you turn to page 290, you'll see that the programme for 2019-20. So initially we started off with just over 84 million, then it went to 94, and now we're predicting after the first quarter that it will be around 77 million pound. So there is a slippage of 17.535 million. This is quite normal. All it means is that the planned expenditure doesn't happen in this year, but actually slip to future years. So this is a regular format of the report that we bring to you. I don't propose to go into any details, but of course the Borough Treasurer is here to ask any questions that you've got.
Do members have any questions or observations on that report?
No.
No? Okay. Thank you, Councillor Jabbar. Thanks, Anne. Item 8, targeted youth services options from April 2020. Who's going to take us through this? It's got Zahid and Amanda on it.
I can read you, that was not informed, but... Okay, so the Council currently commissioning positive steps to deliver a range of services to support Oldham young people under the overarching banner of targeting youth services. They include in three lots. Lot 1, health and well-being of young people, integrated sexual health service, prevention and reduction of youth offending and crime prevention, youth justice service, and support for vulnerable young people who are at risk of young career service, and career advice and guidance. This has been consulted with me as a cabinet member of health and social care, and Councillor Chatterton as a children's services. We are asking for cabinet to support the option 1, which is council to proceed to the procurement plans laid out in the paper and re-procure the targeted youth service. We are also doing quite a lot of work behind the scenes to agree a key performance indicators around these three different lot of contract coming under one contract to make sure that they meet the needs of residents of Oldham. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chowan. Do members have any comments or observations on this report? Okay. Councillor Roberts, does your interest mean that you cannot take part in considering these recommendations?
If it's just a personal interest, then that's absolutely fine. Councillor Roberts can participate and vote on that.
Right, okay. So for the benefit of the cameras, because I asked that question, the answer was that it's a personal interest and Councillor Roberts can participate. So do Cabinet agree the recommendations as set out at the front of the report?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Okay. Item 9 is the Council Performance Report, which is normally just for noting. I'm not proposing to talk through this. Cabinet have any questions or observations on this? No. So does Cabinet agree to note the report as set out at the front? Agreed. So that takes us to item 10, which is different to as printed in the agenda because it's an item of urgent business. This is regarding the PSPO, so that we can coincide with Tameside Council's decision-making process. Councillor Shah, do you have something to say on this item?
Yes, so thank you, Chair. So originally, we were granted permission by the Cabinet for delegated authority to make the Moreland PSPO in the event that no significant objections to the order were received. Predominantly, people were in agreement. There was an extensive consultation period, apart from one objection which came from Open Spaces Society, who are based in London, who had some concerns around the land and the use for private businesses and some of the writing and the way it was presented, which actually our legal team has looked at, and we have made some changes. They still remain slightly dissatisfied with that, but predominantly all the local businesses and private landowners are exempt from any of the PSPO orders, and hugely people are in agreement. So it's just the delegated authority around that. And then the next report with it is obviously essential to consider at the same time as the proposed changes to the fixed penalty charges, because it impacts on the enforcement powers in relation to the PSPOs. And I think even that will be greatly welcomed by people and businesses and anybody who uses the moorland area, because we know it will the previous fixed penalty notices we didn't feel were enough of a deterrent, and we think this will be. So hopefully, I'm hoping it will be approved today.
Thanks, Councillor Shah. We took both of those items together. I can say that I attended a meeting up at the Dovestones Reservoir with a range of different partners who all have an interest in protecting the moorlands so that people can enjoy it. It was clear that there is frustration from local people about the way a minority do misuse and abuse that incredibly valuable open space, and I'm glad that the council is taking steps to mitigate the damage and the impact that some of those irresponsible users have. What really did come through at that meeting, with a number of people that were represented there from the Peak District National Park, from the RSPB, from other local groups, the volunteers, the Marshall Company, landowners, was that there's already a real strong sense of partnership working between all of those organisations, who do, many of them for free, give up their own time to contribute to the preservation of that area and the policing of that area, so that when on days like this the weather is good and people go up there, it can be kept, people can be kept as safe as possible and can enjoy the moorland without any disturbance. I think that this is a good step. It's what people have been calling for a long time, and I'm glad that we've also got the enforcement powers around fines to back this up, provided that we do agree this report here tonight. So, do Cabinet have any questions or observations on the report? So can we consider item 10 then? Do Cabinet agree the recommendations with regards to item 10?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. And do Cabinet agree the recommendations with regards to item 11, the fixed penalty charges?
Yep.
Agreed. Thank you very much. Okay, so that moves us on to what was item 10 but is now new item 10, exclusion of the press and public, which means the cameras have to go off.